It's All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence with another installment of our series, Off the Road, speaking with artists around the world during the pandemic. Hear everything we've done so far at hawaiipublicradio.org. Just look for the Off the Road banner on the front page. Today we're taking off the road for a ride on the Starship Enterprise. That's right, we've got Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner of Star Trek, also star of T.J. Hooker, Boston Legal, and of course the new album The Blues, his latest musical effort in a recording career that began back in the 1960s. Surrounded by guitar legends like Pat Travers, Ritchie Blackmore, and many others, he's added his own unique interpretation of numerous blues classics, and it's a pleasure to welcome William Shatner back to the show now.
Good to talk to you, my friend.
Great that you would do this. We really appreciate it. And first, where are you calling us from, and is this where you've been since the pandemic began?
Yes, pretty much. I'm calling you from my home in Los Angeles, and I've I have great sympathy for people and members of my own family who are locked up in a room, and but I'm very comfortable in a home on a hill, and able to get out to a stable where I have horses. And so between being able to work creatively on a variety of things, get a lot of outdoor activity about 30 minutes from home, and talk to people like yourself, I'm not suffering, and I'm keeping I'm very serious about keeping
safe
myself as remote as possible.
Right on, man.
So I'm in a dangerous group. I'm in the worst group of all. So if I get it, I've got to say goodbye to everybody.
Well, nobody wants you to be getting it, and great to hear you're protecting yourself and staying safe. You got a lot of fans,
Yeah.
and I'm sending you plenty of positive energy myself. And something you
I'm receiving it now. There's a trickle coming in. Yeah, I've got it. Yep, there's the positive energy. Just came through the wall.
And when you were talking, and you like to be called Bill, right? Last time you were on, that's what you asked me to call you.
Please.
So, Bill, I was thinking about something you just said about you're able to stay creative, and you're doing a lot of people doing stuff remotely. You know, we're talking remotely now, and coming on the heels of that Shatner Claus album last year. When was the blues recorded, and did the pandemic cause any issues with putting it together, or have you just been able to seamlessly pull it all off?
Well, it was prior to the pandemic, the blues album. So you're absolutely right. Based on the success of this Christmas album last year, the label asked me to do another album, suggested blues. So I went ahead, and I knew nothing. I'm a guy from Montreal, Canada, and my musical education up there did not include. Well, I had no musical education, really, except listening to my father, listening to the opera, and admired those great voices. And so when I came down to the States and loved music, but didn't know enough about music to know individual artists. So if you were to ask me, like, who and what and where, if I heard it, I'd say, well, that's my favorite, or I love that, and give you reasons why. But I can't, like so many friends of mine, say, oh, well, this album or that number or this artist. I find that very difficult to do. So when I was asked to do the blues album, I realized how ignorant I was. I knew how ignorant I was. So I consulted with a lot of people. I had a guy in my office while I was talking to people about the blues who had sung the blues in the fields in Mississippi, who had picked cotton and had sung about the pain and the ennui that he was feeling while he mimed picking a cotton boll and putting it into an imaginary sack and humming a song, and giving me some insight into where the blues began. And then I talked to a lot of people. I read a lot of books, and in conjunction with a lot of people, I chose these numbers and started to lay my tracks down.
What a great story. And also, I had read what I think you're talking about is meeting with one of your guests, Arthur Adams. Is that who that was who told you
That's
that?
exactly right. So Arthur Adams came in and did this thing, and suddenly the what would be the word? The pain, this light was shone for an instant on something that's long past, because he would have done that, 70 years ago.
Right.
The picking cotton, the machines have long since taken that over. So an individual doing something in the fields, which is what I see on my way to when I'm driving somewhere in Los Angeles, surrounded by agricultural fields. You see people in the fields picking fruit and things like that. And I realized, yes, that's what was done a century ago, where they picked cotton and it was hot and they were paid so little and they were singing of the misery and they communicated with the songs, and you need to see that, feel that, to get a sense of what these songs did and what they were meant to do.
It's so powerful when I read that and when I listen to you speak right now, because you talked about connecting the dots regarding the origins of the blues and going back to Africa. I read one of the things that you said that it started so early. And when you think about it, how ironic or not ironic is it that this record, The Blues, comes out now from you, literally as the Black Lives Matter movement has also become this huge global phenomenon. Had you thought at all about that?
Exactly.
The timing, the relationship, and this pivotal moment the U.S. finds itself in relating to African Americans?
Yes, exactly. All of that is true. All of that is stuff I thought about. Yep.
Yeah, it's powerful for you. And so your acting career, you mentioned it, your acting career and music career go back so far in American pop culture, but you said something interesting. You only really got inspired to do the music when you came to the United States. Can you tell a little bit about when you first realized you liked singing and you could put some of that acting skill into these interpretations that you do?
Well, as far as I can see, I was doing a lot of publicity, being on talk shows in person, and then on the talk show they'd have a musical group play, and then they'd talk to me some more, and I'd love to hear this music and the way they played it in the studio, and I'd tell some stupid story, and I was admiring what they were doing. So it occurred to me that maybe I could get up there with a good lyric, and so I did that once on a talk show. I've forgotten which one. It was successful. Oh, wow, that's how interesting. So I began to do that instead of telling some miserable incident in my life, I'd sing a song and then say, well, watch this television show, or go to this movie, and put myself out there with a good lyric. So I wasn't challenging a good singer. I was making a song dramatic, and that seemed to work. And then a record company, when I did Star Trek, a record company asked me to do an album. So I did what I thought was an interesting concept. It didn't quite work, but I got it out there. As a result of getting it out there, the album was called The Transformed Man.
Yeah.
It wasn't successful, but years later, Ben Folds, this great musician,
Sure.
Heard it and called me and talked to me and invited me on to be on an album of his. I even recall the album that he wrote, that he performed, which was Fear of Pop. And the Fear of Pop had a great number that he wrote for me called White Oleander. And I did that, and the song itself was popular on his popular album. So then I began to get requests to do all that stuff, and it resulted in this.
It's incredible. What a great extension, because your acting training really comes out. There's, for example, a great example for folks would be checking out the animated video for I Put a Spell on You and just listening to the way you interpret those lines. What are there any other previous animated experiences, and tell us any stories?
No, but that's a really full-fledged one and so new that I'm excited about because it's brand new. So the label says we want to do a music video, and now this is in the midst of the pandemic. And I said, well, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? Well, what song? So I said, well, maybe Crossroads. There's this wonderful legend of Johnson being a mediocre musician, and then one midnight going down to a dirt road crossroads and coming back the next morning and being the great musician he became. He sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads was like the thing. So I thought, there, let's do a music video of Crossroads. And what I suggest is Crossroads will go down to Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, in the middle of the night, when there's no traffic, and the Crossroads will be a modern Crossroads.
Wow!
Oh no, too much money into it. What about an animated Crossroads? What about an animated song? So then I said, well, what about doing? I put a spell on you, and here's the way I see it, and I described to the animator exactly how I saw it. A rectangle and the bar is on the left-hand side and seats are on the right-hand side. At the far end, the musicians are playing, and this guy is singing this crazy song, and nobody can hear it because he's singing to the barmaid, but it's all inside his head. He's crazy and laughing and doing mad things. So the animator, who's Romanian, got it completely. And not only did he get it, he added his own sense of humor. So what is the result of which is what was meant to be amusing is really funny, and it's unique, and it's real. I'm so proud of it that I'm suggesting everybody listen to it. I put a spell on you is a funny 3-minute cut of an animated music video.
You think that's the one we ought to go out on when we do when we put this on the radio? Would you like that?
Absolutely. You will have. Not all the blues is about oh poor me. A lot of the blues is happy me, and here I am enjoying this cold drink of water. So the blues is a multifaceted genre.
Oh, it's fantastic. We appreciate you telling us about the record, and it's just crazy because every time I hear your voice, I always think of that intro from Star Trek. I don't think people can ever get that out of their heads, the sound of the music coming in and then you saying, space, do you know those words by heart?
I did at one time.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages.
The words in the memory fade.
It's great having you on the show, William Shatner. Bill Shatner and the blues.
Bill,
great.
Indeed. A pleasure. I look forward to the next time.
I hope so. And thanks for doing this. Stay safe.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, and let's do it again.
I appreciate it. Good luck, brother.
Bye-bye.